Hello and welcome. I am Kevin Finn, your host. Many of you know me, and I am a copywriter's agent in Los Angeles. And this is a video recording I'm doing for my copywriters to help them with a copywriting assistant tool that utilizes artificial intelligence. And I heard about this tool, and I wanted to create a video that gives a demo of it. And here today with me today is my friend Robert Stover, who's a marketing strategy guy who's going to give a demo of it on this video. And also my friend John Kirker is on the call with us today. He's a technology marketing guy. And John, thanks for being with us. And Robert, thanks so much. If you don't mind, Robert, just take a moment and give a little bio background of yourself, and then John can do that, and then we can just launch right into this demo. Okay.
Yeah, I'm your marketing strategy guy, and I mean, your audience probably familiar with Jay Abraham and stuff. I did stuff with him back in the day with joint ventures, writing copy with him. I've worked with clients that may not know in the mobile marketing space and helped grow a startup to about a $20-something million valuation before we sold it off to Fortune 100, and then created another startup in the mortgage space. They currently at about a $25 million valuation from a credit card to startup, where I've kind of guided the marketing on that, as well as, nothing happens till somebody sells something. So I've had to jump in the trenches and write copy along the way as well. And so that's my rough story.
Okay, John, do you mind giving us a little background?
Sure, no problem. I started out, luckily enough, kind of worked for Jay back in the early 90s. Left there right around the time that the internet was starting to come into play. I started an internet company in 1994, did a lot of work, built that up, worked with over 100 Fortune 500 companies at the time. Robert actually was the seed of an idea that we put together for a system that was a direct response marketing system. Back then, nobody had email addresses, so we created a system that drove traffic to websites via direct mail, and that generated, from what I can tell, about $500 million in revenue for Terminix. In total, the stuff that I've done is probably about $2.5 billion in revenue. Sold the company in 2001, and since I've just been consulting for private clients.
Great, that sounds good.
I'm always doing everything I can to try to stay on the cutting edge of what's going on with technology and where the future is going. So I think that's important when it comes to advising.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. One thing I'll mention is most of my writers fall into either health supplements. They're selling health supplements through direct mail or online, or financial newsletter subscription, like Forbes, Kiplinger, trying to get somebody to subscribe to a $50, $100 newsletter, Motley Fool. And then some other peripheral stuff like BizOp, self-improvement, fundraising for causes. But at some point, Robert, on this call, maybe we could pick something like one of my clients, sells mushrooms, and maybe we can try
magic mushrooms.
No, not magic mushrooms, not psilocybin or hallucinogenics, but like one of them sells lion's mane and needs a space ad written. So maybe if time permits, we'll maybe try, apply that, or financial subscription or self-help. But why don't I let you take over, Robert, and have you give this demo and maybe screen share and show us how it works.
Sure, let me get the screen share going, and then we'll also talk about the background on this. So most people know Elon Musk is involved in AI, and a couple years back, he and some other guys got in and they funded this open artificial intelligence project. And they've been working on it for years. Along the way, they wanted to teach it to do natural language. And so they fed it the internet, and it consumed about 10% of the internet, which is about 95% of the public internet. And using the machine learning tools and stuff, it learned how to write. And later, some copywriters got hold of that, and they're kind of they're tech marketing guys. And they added, so you've got the artificial intelligence thing and the whole internet. And then on top of that, they fed it everything they could with marketing materials and controls and things like that. To create a writing assistant would be a good way to look at this. And what they've come out with is, I didn't believe it at first. John alerted me to it And he hammered me for 2 weeks on, take a look at this, take a look at this. It's amazing. And I'm like, some AI thing, all it is a group of headline templates, and it fills in your benefits, and then that's what you get. You know, who else wants a screen star figure, right? And so it's going to go, who else wants a lion's mane mood adjuster? And that's all it's going to give me back. So he keeps at it. So I go, okay, I'll take a look at it. And what I saw both amazed and frightened me, because I would give it stuff and it would give me output, and I'm good, that's in natural language and written great intros and paragraph starters and copy starters and all that stuff. And then I assume, like, okay, it's just ripping this off someone else's site, off the internet. It's going out and taking it. And so I went out and I did a plagiarism check. Everything that it generates is unique. I'm like, oh my word. And then every time, as you'll see in a minute here, we push a button, it creates more unique content that's never been written before. And it was just like, it was like astounding. And for example, we just demonstrated this in the mortgage industry the other day. And those guys were just blown away how, as you'll see in a minute, in seconds, it generates the content they need to start creating their own content. And as I've played with it over the last couple of weeks, the best way I can describe it is having a really smart assistant right next to you while you're writing copy. And you know how it is, you want to get on phone, you know, you're getting stuck or you don't know what an angle to take on something. You get on the phone with a copywriting buddy who's at your level, and you're like, hey, what do you think about this? Or what about this angle? And they come back, well, why don't you try that? And you go like, well, that first thing you said was stupid, but this part's really good. Oh, I can take that. And you start ricocheting off of it. It lets you do that with a really smart friend that just happened to have read the internet. And it will come up with angles that you weren't immediately thinking of them. I mean, sure, anybody with their salt as a copywriter, you have a lot of research that you have to do and stuff. You'll eventually find those things, but it just creates them for you. And I mean, the best way is just jump in and show it. John, did I miss anything there?
John.
No, I think you're pretty thorough in that.
All right.
It's a great tool.
So there's a tool, and well, you know what? Here, let me step back and give an overview. So this thing has so many tools, it's almost overwhelming. There's basic things like the old formulas everybody knows and loves, ADA, problem, agitate that. There's content improvers where you can take something you've already done, put it in, and it'll rewrite it in a way. For the social media guys, there's tons of blog outlines and posts and things like that. As we'll discover, one of these is actually an excellent kind of a procrastination breaker and idea starter for any copywriter. Explain it to a child. So like Kevin, when I send emails to you, I put them through the explain it to a child, and it writes them so that you can understand my reading. Yeah, and so we kind of go in there. If you're doing Google headlines and ads and things like that, it cranks them out. Something interesting that I discovered, just kind of a side note, I like many, if I had to write about something, I'd go out to Amazon, I'd search on the top books on it, I'd pull the headlines, I would throw them into a text analyzer, what's the most common appeals, I call them $1 million mashups, where I take all those pieces and I would create unique headlines out of it. It did insanely well. This tool, because it knows what the top of the search engines and things are, it knows what people are searching for. And it actually brings in benefits and appeals and angles that are real tasty to people. So it's a really great little tool. There's a headline generators, marketing angles. We'll show that today. I love that one for just like content. Okay, here's my theme. What are angles and approaches I could take within it just to get stuff going? It's so fast. Bullet point creators. If anybody's doing YouTube videos, everything from script outlines, video ideas, the hook and introduction is an incredible tool to get going. SEO, if anybody's touching SEO, and I'll let Kirker touch on this later, they've tied it in with some of the major search SEO tools, and like he's gotten something local ranking in a single week. It's insane with what it does. So with all of that preamble, I'm going to do, I like going here. There's so many tools, but just for really quick stuff. So tell me what's going on with what was that supplement's name?
that's called Lion's Mane, and it helps with mood and energy. And it's like, I think it's like a $34 bottle of, it's lion's mane mushroom infused pills in a bottle. So yeah, so it's mood, maybe
Mood,
anxiety.
focus. I'm only gonna write 80 characters, so we'll feed it that. Do you know where it comes from? Is it? I might replace price with. Is it? What's the history on that? You may not know. I don't.
I don't know where it comes from. Like,
okay, so you just tasked me. Audience is going to be
it's going to be health. It's people that are seeking health and longevity, natural health and longevity probably. It's for depression. I think people that are trying to get out of being depressed, like in COVID lockdown and stuff like that. But longevity, anti-aging, maybe, I don't know.
I'll use longevity.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go something for if your writers want to play with this. I found out if I put confident and persuasive.
Yeah.
It works very well. You can put funny if you're a copywriter that doesn't like making a lot of money. You can put Joe Rogan's voice, Gary Vaynerchuk's voice, any kind of tone that you might think. Confident, persuasive. I'm going to add. I'll just keep it there. You can add in casual, informal, anything. So let's generate some content here. I'm going to go I want 4 opening paragraphs on this, and let's see what it gives us. Okay. Every time I do this, I don't know what's going to happen. So it's like walking on a tightrope. Just like any guy you've been doing, it might be great and it might not. Let's see what we got here. Okay, gave us stuff we didn't even put. Have you been tired, irritable, moody, having a hard time concentrating or remembering things the day before? Lion's Mane supplements can help you improve your mood, focus, concentration levels. If there's a supplement that could make you feel better, help your focus and mood, it's been shown to have anti-aging properties. Lion's Mane mushrooms, a natural supplement that's been shown to help with boosting mood and memory, as well as aiding in the treatment of depression. It also has been found to improve focus. It can be taken for both short and long-term use, depending on your needs. So these are great little fire starters here. Lion's Mane mushrooms have been proven to many health benefits with the brain, improve mood, depression symptoms, anti-inflammatory properties. So this thing's gone out and pulled stuff I didn't know about about anti-inflammatory stuff, reducing pain with chronic conditions, with arthritis and diabetes. So if anybody's playing with this and you go, I kind of like that angle, there's a right over here, a star, you hit a favorite, and it'll drop it into a little work folder.
Robert, on the outputs, I kind of like this. I liken it to a slot machine in Vegas. You kind of spin and it pulls out good copy. Sometimes you win, sometimes it doesn't pull out great stuff. But you can do up to 15 different outputs on each spin, and you can continuously run it, and it will keep generating content until you find something that you like, or you might find things that you like intermixed with a bunch of different ones.
So look at this one. So I'm actually going to take this one. This one's killer. It's a natural supplement that'll help with your mood, focus, depression. It's been used for centuries in Chinese medicine as a way to bring the body back into balance. Lion's Mane mushroom can also be found in the Japanese culture, what was called the fungus of longevity. Medicinal use of this dates back to 400 BC. Oh my word. So wow, that's insane. So now watch this. I'm going to take that and I go, okay, that's for me not knowing anything about a mushroom, I could go out and do you just shaved a ton of my time on researching this. So now we're going to shave more time. I'm going to go here, and I mentioned the marketing angles. I love doing this just for what am I going to say about this? That Lion's Mane, tone of voice, we'll go with, man, it likes witty. I'm going to go with persuasive and constant. This one I actually like. I like lots of ideas. So as an idea guy, this just feeds me. It gives me so many angles to ricochet off. both for headlines, but also subject blocks and content within it that I would later research. I cranked it to level 10, so here we go.
It's very powerful, Robert. I'm finding this very, very impressive and valuable as a tool.
Natural way to fight against that, beneficial for long-term health. Natural way to, healthy way to maintain mood swings happen, but they don't have to disrupt your day. Oh, awesome one there.
Yeah.
Stay sharp. You feel like 1,000. If you're having trouble focusing on your work, try out our natural supplement, better concentration. So already you can see that it's coming up with angles around not only mood, but around focus. And a good copywriter, those would be completely separate pieces they'd probably do.
Okay.
Doctor recommended, I want to research, is it? Or is it in China or Japan? It's been around for centuries. Take a word for best product, lion's mane, tons of natural benefits, all backed by centuries of research and use. Better than antidepressants. So I'd want to research that and find out. No side effects like weight gain or sexual dysfunction. Nice. Natural way to feel better, mood. Anyway, you can see all, I mean, look at this. Pages of ideas. And all I have to go through is go, I like that one. I like that one.
What happens after you click and say you like it? What does that do for you?
So let's say I'm just going to randomly do, I'm not even looking at these. Listen to your gut. Something's off lately. Okay. And I'm going to go with that one because it mentioned, I love the ancient Chinese secret angle that this came up with by itself. So I go back to my dashboard here, or project, I think. And Kirker may have to tell me there. Where are my favorites, Kirker?
Go to content.
There we go. Favorites. And it took them all and saved them here. Okay. So as I'm researching or coming up with ideas, or I like a bullet point, or I like this, it saves it all into this output that I can just take and dump into my document. So starting with, I don't know how many minutes we're into this, with nothing, I've got a ton of content.
Okay, what's good to note is that, like, the health supplement clients where writers are working on those projects, the clients typically give the writer a start kit that includes a lot of the research and the claims and the case studies. And so the writer can, use this tool with their studies to start putting in, like right here, here's a study, and I'm joking about this one, Robert, but I'd like you to put this one in there, that lion's mane helps you grow hair on top of your head. For, it solves balding. So put lion's mane solves balding, 1 inch of hair growth a day. Just out of curiosity, what's it going to come back with, But what the writers need, what the writers need to understand, and I think you probably understand, is any and all claims that this AI tool comes out with, the writer is going to have to go research and find those and document those. And so, the writers are going to typically use this tool after they've skimmed their start kit with claims that can be made. And that's where they're going to come up with great copy from there, and so. Right.
And what this feeds you back isn't what the legal guy said you could say. It's actually, because this things consume the top searches of the internet, it's feeding you back what people are actually clicking on.
Yes, exactly.
So, and then it's up to, and again, this is not a replacement for an experienced copywriter. What it is an assistant in his office to kick ideas with and to speed up. So most of the people that get shown this are like, oh my word, that would shave hours off what I'm doing. Or, that break, that whole blank page getting started thing that we all have to get over. It breaks that.
Yep.
Well, look at that. Lion's mane is an edible mushroom that grows on the forest flora and is used in Asian cultures for centuries. It helps with depression as well as hair loss. So it took your
yeah, right.
It took your BS claims and it actually came up with a oh my word. So now the AI is just making stuff up.
Right.
But I love it. It's a powerful mushroom that's been used for centuries in Asia. It was long thought to be the herb of immortality. And in Japanese, it means shaved head.
Hey, so my writers, the writers, see, I mean, I'm going to reach out to, 50 or 100 of the writers I've worked with, and most of them understand the health supplement sector, and most of them understand, I mean, all of them understand, you start with the research, you start with the claims, because the copy is going to go through legal and they're going to kick it back to you if you haven't documented the sourcing or the claims. So you have to start with the client start kit, which gives you all of the claims and the studies and links to those studies. That's where you start with that, and you come into this AI tool that, as a copywriting assistant, and this with the claims put into this system will give you copy that's compliant. And or if it's not, you just have to slightly tweak it. But I mean, I could see a writer that might have writer's block and take them a few weeks to get out a first draft, and this could help them get out a first draft in a couple of days.
Yeah. So using this, there's been like one fellow John and I know, he's had a book idea in him for years. He's never putting it off. And he jumped in and he went from 7 days to nothing to making his first sell on Amazon with his book. And he said it was about 60% him and about 40% AI. And he would just go back and he goes, I had it. I knew I should do it, but it's just that writers are like, oh man, I got to do it. Where this makes it more like a game. Yeah. Like, oh, it's going to give me, and as an experienced copywriter, you can just ricochet off these things so fast. And even the bad ones it gives you, you go like, well, that's not true. This is true. Right. And it's, all writers know it's easier to edit than write.
Yeah. And
like for my 11-year-old with the school papers on this, it's frightening. And that's when my wife looked at it and she goes, well, doesn't it output the same thing every time? I went, no, it's unique. I could give each copywriter this tool and do with the Q, lion's mane solves balding problem and grows hair in inches. And it will give each one of them unique, non-plagiarized copy.
Yeah, that's great. Now, were there other parts of this you wanted to demo, or did you want to try any other type of examples that are like, maybe a different one, not health supplement, but anything else? Or what else would you like? What else can you show my writers on this demo call so they really see the power of it?
We can try let's go with personal development and prosperity stuff. I think Kevin, in your background somewhere, you've got that book you bought.
Oh yeah. I bought a book at a garage sale for 10 cents, and it was a book about what do you say when you talk to yourself. So it was you put in self-help, or put in, self-improvement, or it's affirmations. It's kind of like that type of thing where it's affirmations, but it was a book on how to start to coach yourself on what to tell yourself and what to stop telling yourself. I'm lazy.
And then what were the hook on that is what it actually did to your.
Oh yeah, that I remember that after I read that, I applied that technology towards financial, my income gaining, and it was 2005 when I got the book, and my income doubled every year for 3 years in a row from what I applied from that book. So doubled income 3 years in a row or something.
Let me clear out these magic mushrooms.
Robert, in a row.
All right, just a sec. Hey, I can't spell.
Prosperity, self-improvement.
I have to use Grammarly like most mortals.
I'll put financial. Put the word financial. Maybe should financial be in that list of there? Yeah.
Financial for audience might confuse it. Might go after bankers.
Make money.
Yeah. Make money. Yeah.
All right. So let's see what happens.
So would this be an example of where, like, let's say I was going to try to write an ebook to sell someone on an ebook that I was going to write around this experience I had?
Yeah, or a lead gen piece.
Yeah, got
anything like that. I was a skeptic. He spent hours looking at one book to make him rich, help fix his lives. I shake my head at the time they wasted. I never got much thought until this 10-cent book from a garage sale. Sat there for days where I opened it and which felt like an old friend greeting with the pages of his wisdom. Oh my word. Then it hit me, the small book cost less than $1, but still tripled my income in just a year. And that last year doubled again.
So would I charge them 10 cents for the book, but $20 for shipping and handling?
Yes. No, it's free book, but it's $20 for shipping and handling.
Even though it's an ebook, I'm still going to charge shipping and handling, right?
Oh, holy smoke.
shipping,
It went
just
out.
handling.
It went out and lifted research on The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz.
Huh.
Considered one of the most influential, is my favorite parts when we talked about it. 10-cent book for garage sale 3 years ago has doubled my income every year since. And then you tell the story, and again, this is where you ricochet off of it. And in your case, it wasn't a woman selling books at her garage. It was your girlfriend or something drug you to it.
Yep.
Now it's pulling out all the self-help titles.
Yeah, that's powerful. So basically it gives you tons of ideas, tons of content that you can use, value, retool, discard. It basically, it's going to give you tons of stuff where it simplifies it, where you look through to find the nuggets, and you just delete the stuff that doesn't apply or not nuggets. And really, I could see someone getting a jump start on their assignment, and not only getting a jump start if they're having a little writer's block or creative block, but getting through to a first draft in a matter of days instead of weeks.
So here's a way that I found I like it. I like the other day I had some copy for a client I was working on, and instead of like thinking around and outlining or mind mapping it out or something I usually might do to get jump started for myself, I just right here and I just typed in what I want to say is this is one of the biggest opportunities that comes along once in a decade, that is going to transform the way people do business and mortgage, and that if you don't have the tool, you're competing against mortgage lenders who have the tool. And I hit start, and it output 5 openings for me. And I went into those, and you can see it. I just went like that, and I go, I'm just your average Joe, 10 cents, something like that. And I just pasted it into my document, and then I just stitched them together, and it was like awesome. And some of the things it thought of were just, I was like, oh my word, what a great sentence or angle or paragraph. And some of them are like, oh, I need an intro with this, and then do this, and then that. But I was done in 15 minutes. It was just like, and where before my pattern personally, it would be to procrastinate until it's like due in an hour and the client's screaming at me or it's past due. And then I get the motive to go in and crank it out and do this stuff. So it just made it so much easier. And like I've told John, I go, dude, it's like having a buddy in the office that I can just kick ideas back and forth with. And I'm not isolated when it comes to the copywriting side of stuff anymore. It just makes it easier. In some cases, it comes up with ideas and angles I would not have thought of. And in some cases, it takes me, I have to have the core stuff and stuff to do. I have to guide it as it goes through and things like that. John, are there anything else on this that you would want to demonstrate?
The bullet point generator is pretty interesting. Again, sometimes you get, you spin the wheel and you don't get what you want. Other times you do. But I think what you said is very important. I think that people who aren't using a tool like this are going to be at a disadvantage, while people that are using a tool like this are going to be at an advantage, because they're going to be able to produce much more content and more valuable content more quickly. And that's kind of how I ran across this initially. Several weeks ago, I was in Halbert's copy group on Facebook, and somebody made a comment that they saw or heard about a tool like this, and they were afraid that it was going to put all the copywriters out of business. And then another kind of wise mind in the industry said, well, it'll probably put the low-level guys out of industry, but the upper echelon of copywriters, the better copywriters, they're using a tool like this will just elevate them in the industry. So it was just kind of an interesting take on it, but that kind of led me down the path of, hey, who's doing what in this field? And I've tested over a dozen of these tools, and this particular system is generating content that's head and shoulders above everybody else. And I think it's due to the layer of technology that they added on top of Musk's system, where they have been loading proofs and swipes and everything into it from copywriters throughout history to kind of train it to write for sales. So it's a really fascinating tool. I think it's incredibly valuable. For me, I mean, for what the cost is, I wouldn't stop paying for it heartbeat, but it is valuable.
Yeah, thanks, John. So Robert, my biggest barrier that I'm kind of thinking and experiencing as I'm watching this, my biggest barrier is the onboarding, the training. You know, my gosh, I don't want to do this because it's going to take me 20 hours to get to a level where Robert's using these tools and navigating these tools. So what I'd like you to explain, if you don't mind, is tell my copywriter audience how long, you know, could they be up and using it just like you within a matter of an hour or two of training?
Minutes. So just do what I did. Jump into the tool. I think it's got a free trial going on. Jump in, go to it's almost the consistent winner is blog post intro, and just think sales letter intro, sales video intro. It doesn't matter what it is. Just think that. Yep. Use that and type in what I want to talk about is la 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 la. Hit that, boom, and it generates those intro paragraphs. Just grab one that's sort of close, and then go down to this tool on marketing angles.
Yep. And
take what it already gave you and just throw it in there and see what happens. And you'll get. And I set it up to 10, yep. And it'll generate. And that's all you need to see, like, oh, holy crud. Then if you want to spend the time, they've got tons of tutorial videos on this, on how to get the most out of it, and how to run a project through it and all of that stuff. So there's tons of support video on this.
So you'll give me a link I can put on because I'm going to upload this video to YouTube and then email the YouTube link out to my writers. But below in the comments of YouTube, if you'll give me a link where they can click to go and try the service out, that would be great.
Yeah, I'll leave that up to John.
Okay. And then
I'll do that.
I didn't see like any kind of pricing. Is it like $200 or $300 a month, or how much is it?
That's $500 a month.
They have programs that start, I believe, as little as $29 a month. They do have a free trial that's a 5-day free trial, and with that free trial, I believe it'll generate about 10,000 words of content. With the link, with your link, that might be 20,000 words of content. And, you know, by generating that much content, 20,000 words is quite a bit, as you know. They'll have a good idea as to whether this will be valuable for them.
And then from there, is it up to $100 a month or $200 a month for a larger number of words? You know,
up until this Friday, they do have a $100 a month program that's an unlimited version. I think by the time a lot of people see this video, that unlimited is probably going to go away, or at least it will at the price. But that's $100 a month for the professional version. And they will continue to have a professional version, which has all of the bells and whistles and tools. That'll be $100 a month, as I've been told. And then their unlimited version will probably double or triple in price, but people might not need that, you know?
Yeah. Right.
So like one of the guys we showed this, he's got a marketing staff, and he was like, as we're talking, he thought this was going to be up in like the $500,000 range, or, you know, you buy a $2,000 license to it or something. And he's already thinking, oh my word, my team will be able to output so much more with this. And then he's like, what, you know, like $99? Are you kidding me? And then another team, major guru in the real estate industry, we're trying to demonstrate it, like on look how the realtors could use it. And all they could talk about was how they could use it in their own team to generate the content and for their plans and their marketing strategies for the next year. So when the people use it, they're like, this is for me, right? So it's pretty interesting reaction, and the expressions, like, you know, how do I invest in the company, And one of the guys like, oh my word, this is bananas. This is going to shave hours off my work. So once they play with it, get out and just play with it. It's free. And,
yeah, if I'm a writer and I make 10,000 a month, and my typical assignment, it takes me about 2 weeks to write. If this tool helps me cut that writing time from 2 weeks down to 1 week, which I can easily see it doing, then, you know, 300 a month. If it goes, when it goes to 200 or 300 a month, still it's
even that it's a bargain.
Totally a bargain. Yeah.
And with some more training, and they'll have to go through the tutorials on it, this thing called the long form assistant. Use all the content that got created with these really fast. I mean, those things are 10 seconds. Well, you're waiting until you have to wait a whole 10 seconds to get your content. Yeah. And then you dump it into the long form assistant, and for your video sales letters and your longer copy and things like that, and you work with it.
Yep.
Yeah, I love the problem agitation solution framework. With the long form assistant, what it does is it looks at the previous 600 or 800 characters, and it takes that, so it doesn't know what happened above that or below it, and it takes that to continue writing. So it can go off on a jag sometimes, or what you can do is they have characters to interrupt the flow so it won't look to see what's above that, and you can write some other lead or intro, and then it will take it from your lead or intro and kind of start writing and give you ideas and content as well.
So yeah, it could be as simple and fast as I showed you, or it can be more in depth as they get more advanced, but they can start generating quick stuff within a minute or two if they just do those two things I showed them.
Yep. That's great.
And Robert had mentioned the SEO portion of this. With the SEO portion, it does the same thing as we showed you with the blog intro, but you actually add keywords, and then what it does is it tries to focus on or around those keywords so that when Google or the other search engines pick it up, they see the contextual relevancy of those words to what you're trying to rank for. And it's pretty fascinating. I've got new sites that have never been indexed. They have no links to them, that are actually ranking in very competitive local markets for, in the home services industry, where there might be 300 or 400 competitors. And yeah, they might not be on page one. For some things they are, and I'm surprised this quickly, but on a lot of things they're ranked 11th or 12th. And like I said, there's literally hundreds of competitors. So just mind blowing.
That's great. So any final thoughts, John or Robert?
No, it's just try it out. Just try it out. For me, it broke that procrastination barrier on a lot of stuff that I have to do, because I start going like, oh, I'm putting it off. I go, you know what? Here's what I want to say. La la la. Bam, I've got stuff to play off and feed off. Just like when clients send me copy, it's so much easier. It's like, oh, nope, this, nope, that, take this here, put that. It's easy versus starting from scratch. And that's what it's going to do. It's not going to replace an experienced, sophisticated copywriter. It will make them faster. And for low-level people, it takes them, like I've said, I got a client that can write above his level. Genius at business. But writing isn't his strong suit. This generates stuff for him that he couldn't generate for himself. All right.
So good.
Right.
Well, thanks guys. And we'll catch up soon.
Thank you.
Right. Good seeing you again, Kevin.
All right, good to finally meet you kind of in person, at least.
Yeah, it's great to put a face to the voice. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great day.
All right. We'll see you guys.
Right. Thanks, Robert.
Bye for now.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.